wondered how people cope with the devastating sequel of brain stroke? Have you ever wondered whether the difficulties faced by stroke survivor to participate in day-to-day activities is due to their physical disability or their inability to cope with the situation? Have you ever thought how psychological complications of stroke can limit a patient's recovery? Are you aware of the fact that stroke patients who appear to have successfully completed a program of rehabilitation may fail to adapt to home and work environment because of one or more psychosocial factors that have not been addressed during rehabilitation or overlooked by family members? Hello, Namaste viewers. I am Rainy and welcome to our channel Physio Healer. Today's video is about psychological complications of stroke survivor and how it impacts rehabilitation program. As mentioned in the previous video of the stroke rehabilitation series, epidemiological studies suggest that stroke is the leading cause of disability for adults. And in India, Indian Global Burden of Disease Study estimates that stroke is the largest contributor to disability adjusted life years. Active participation of patients in rehabilitation program is considered an important outcome of stroke recovery, as it provides your therapist valuable patient-centered information on the impact of stroke on daily life. As per research, many patients with stroke experience restriction in participation 1 year after stroke, including outdoor mobility, work, housekeeping, and partners' relationships. Symptoms of anxiety and depression are common in both acute and chronic stage of stroke, and psychological factors including change in coping style and personality traits have more impact on participation compared to physical disability. These psychological reactions are manifested gradually in days, months, and years after stroke. Surprisingly, psychological factors are often overlooked by rehabilitation team as well as by family members. Stroke epidemiology research suggests that risk of stroke increase with age and incidence of younger people is low. However, younger stroke survivors are more likely to be affected by one or more psychological complications. Factors that lead to poor psychological adjustments are reduced quality of life, loss of employment, financial crisis, being single or conflict with spouse or children. Then there is excessive tiredness, sexual problems, separation or divorce, and reduced social and leisure activities. Research estimates that most survivors develop psychological disorders, especially depression or anxiety. Many of these sufferers exhibit denial, anger, frustration, or hostility, enduring physical and cognitive disabilities, fatigue, and sometimes denial of friends and family to believe in authenticity of survivors' limitation results in making the sufferer dissatisfied with life after stroke. Strokes are life-threatening, traumatic, and debilitating. Although not every patient develops intense emotional response, those who do become more vulnerable to psychological consequences. Research has suggested that most common psychological symptoms include affective disorders such as depression, anger, or anxiety. Behavioral disorders such as sudden outbursts of anger or uncontrolled crying or denial of disability. And cognitive symptoms such as diminished attention, decreased memory, or inability to speak. The psychological reactions to stroke are post-stroke depression, generalized anxiety disorder, catastrophic reactions, pseudobulbar effect, denial, and comorbid mental disorders. Post-stroke depression, also known as PSD, is a common reaction to stroke occurring in 20 to 40% of stroke survivors. High level of depression is recorded 3 months following stroke. It has signs and symptoms of disturbed sleep, lack of interest, preoccupation of thought, reduced energy, diminished concentration, loss of appetite, agitation, and suicidal thoughts. PSD adversely affects a patient's chance of recovery and has been associated with increased mortality rates. Generalized anxiety disorder is characterized by frequent and uncontrollable worry that may occur for at least 6 months. and is associated with immobility, fatigue, and poor self-control. Anxiety after stroke results in decreased participation in activities of daily living and social dysfunction. Catastrophic reactions are defined as the intense emotional reactions that patients have when presented with a task that they are unable to perform due to a neurologic deficit. In pseudobulbar affect, which is also known as emotional incontinence, patient will have outbursts of emotions such as sudden crying, anger, uncontrollable laughing, and sudden bouts of anxiety. These emotions, if persist for longer period of time, can bring out feeling of helplessness and hopelessness. These reactions will further lead to embarrassment and avoidance of social events and will result in depression. Patients with denial will show anger on receiving any feedback about their condition. Here, patient will demonstrate lack of fear and worry that may delay medical care and results in poor recovery. Physical activity started early acts as a protective factor against depression 3 months following stroke. It improves the patient's self-esteem, increases sense of comfort and happiness due to elevated serotonin and noradrenergic synthesis following exercise, which in turn diminish depression level. Research have shown that high level of anxiety could be related to the lack of rehabilitative service following stroke, lack of social and psychological support for the survivor, and the high burden of physical disability on them. Although physical activity started early has beneficial effects on psychology of stroke survivor, not all patients get to start their rehabilitation early. Mental health issue may therefore inhibit outcome of rehabilitation process at later stage. Thus, it is important for the rehabilitation team members to evaluate and take care of psychological symptoms during the process of rehabilitation. There is a beautiful quote given by William James. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering the attitude of his mind. So here are a few tips to support psychological and emotional complications after stroke. Educate the patient and family by explaining about the condition and the recovery process. Give an honest opinion about their abilities and what they are capable to regain. Set short-term and long-term goals and motivate the patient to achieve their goals. Keep the targets small and easy at first and cheer their small successes. Build trust by listening to your patient and taking their opinion in goal setting. And create support system built up of patient, the rehab team, family and friends. Evaluate and re-evaluate your patient frequently using scales of cognitive impairment, anxiety and depression. Using a patient-centered structure, rehabilitation services must deal with psychological consequences, particularly anxiety and depression, to achieve optimum recovery of stroke survivor. With this video, I am ending the stroke rehabilitation series, which was mainly designed for promoting awareness about importance of rehabilitation for stroke survivors. Please share your insight, suggestions or questions in the comment sections. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.